Good morning, people. Welcome to Success Tree classes. Well, we are doing here India Yearbook 2016 series, and till now we have done till chapter number 8, that is till communication and information technology. If you like our videos, then you hit like, comment, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos as well. It's just to make sure we keep on bringing such amazing videos for you people. So here we go, come to chapter number 9, that is defense. Here in defense chapter you won't find much from the yearbooks. You just need to go through certain missiles and what kind of missiles those are, cruise or ballistic, surface to air or air to air, like these kind of the missiles. So come to Agni missile, right? So here we have Agni missile series. So Agni, it's an intermediate range ballistic missile. So just remember, it's a ballistic missile. Till now we have tested Agni 5 missile, that is having range of 5,000 kilometers. Agni 6 is still under manufacturing. All right. Next one is Akash surface to air. So just remember this thing, Akash is surface to air missile, and it is multi-directional, multi-target, which can simultaneously engage several air targets in fully autonomous mode of operation. So remember Akash, surface to air. How to remember this one? For example, you can say, how do you look at sky? Or when you're preparing for UPSC, it is being said, hold your ground, don't fly in sky, hold your ground, look over sky, right? So Akash, you look over sky by remaining yourself on the ground. That is surface to air missile. The next we have Astra. Astra is air to air, and it's beyond visual range, and it is having very high probability of striking the target with very, very huge accuracy. So high single shot kill probability means accuracy is very high, and developed definitely by DRDO to engage and destroy highly maneuvering supersonic aerial targets. That is also being integrated with Su-30 MKI aircrafts. So remember, Astra first letter is what? A, means air to air. Okay. Next one, Nirbhay. Nirbhay is subsonic cruise missile, and it is developed indigenously by India. So it's a long range subsonic cruise missile, Nirbhay. So remember, cruise missile, subsonic, indigenously developed by India. Then we have BrahMos. BrahMos is supersonic cruise missile developed jointly by India and Russia, and it works in the two-stage engine. The first is solid propellant booster engine that gives this BrahMos to a supersonic speed and then gets separated. And second is liquid ramjet stage. It further takes the BrahMos close to 3 Mach speed in cruise phase. Remember, BrahMos, supersonic cruise missile jointly by India and Russia, two-stage engine, solid propellant, and then liquid ramjet stage. Range 290 kilometers. The next one, LCA, that is light combat aircraft, Tejas. So this is indigenously developed by India, light combat aircraft. So directly just remember, LCA, that is light combat aircraft, is what? Tejas, and it is indigenously developed by India. That's it to remember about Tejas. You see, not so much given about different missiles here in this India yearbook, so we can further take our studies from my notes here. Now come to my OneNotes. We can further see what we can discuss. Yes, so whenever we say it is a ballistic missile, this one is cruise missile, so you should know the difference between ballistic and cruise missiles, because the question can come up in statement wise, ballistic, cruise. So ballistic missile, when it is launched, it goes out of the atmosphere, then it is guided by the gravity of Earth, comes to the atmosphere again, strikes the target. So it remains unguided. In fact, engine remains powered off. So maximum journey, it just the engine gives the push to the missile to make it out of the atmosphere. Then the whole trajectory is being guided by the gravity, right? So it is not guided the whole mission operation. In fact, the whole trajectory, it is only a small initial level may be guided. And even there are certain ballistic missiles which remain unguided, right? So ballistic missile engine operation remains for short duration, then it is guided by gravity. Whereas cruise missile, they are being maneuvered, they are being guided for the whole trajectory, and because of this they remain within atmosphere, all right, and because of this they have very high accuracy. So cruise, so they remain cruising throughout the trajectory. So you can go through once from this video to understand the difference between ballistic and cruise. You can see here, usually rely on Earth's gravity to fly down once launched, much large range. Cruise, they have their own engines and wings to strike the target. Now we have integrated guided missile program by India. Okay, so there are certain missiles which were brought into this IGMDP. We'll go through one by one and see their differentiation. Prithvi is surface to surface. Agni, surface to surface. So both are ballistic missiles, Prithvi and Agni. Prithvi, short range, surface to surface. Agni, intermediate range, surface to surface, ballistic missile. Trishul, so Trishul is surface to air. So how one can use Trishul like this, surface to air. Then Akash, medium range, I told you, surface to air, hold your ground, look at sky. Then Nag, that is anti-tank guided missile. Then now come to Prithvi missile system. So it is India's first indigenously developed ballistic missile. 1, 2, 3, no need to remember the different range, even you won't be able to do so. You just remember Prithvi is surface to surface ballistic missile, indigenously developed by India. Now we have Sagarika. Sagarika is submarine variant of Prithvi. Alright, so kind of the certain modification so that it could be used from a submarine. Now Sagarika is also called K-15 class. K-15, yes. So K-15, so K-class missile, they are manufactured to give India second strike capability. So in case certain of our enemy nation, they attack through nuclear warheads, so even in the case all our land weapons and the instruments, they got destroyed, but still we have the submarines and we could have certain missile capabilities to launch from those, so it gives us second strike capability. Then Dhanush is ship or naval variant of Prithvi. Just remember, Sagarika is submarine variant of Prithvi, K-class missile it is. Dhanush, it is ship launched variant of Prithvi. Come to Agni, it's a ballistic missile, intermediate range. Last one we tested was Agni 5, that has range of 5,000 kilometers, and that makes India to enter into intercontinental ballistic missile range countries. Agni 6 is still under development phase, that will have a range of 6,000 kilometers. So see, this is how it once came in Hindu when Agni 5 was tested. One of the importance is it gives India a more range and to strike in another continent as well. So intercontinental ballistic missile capability it gives to India. Another important thing about this, that it is canister launch system. You can see a kind of the big truck juggernaut kind of the thing, right? So it could be transported anywhere by this big truck, and so it's a canister in fact. So this canister based launch, it would happen by having more transportability. So it gives more flexibility in the operation. That's all about Agni. Then Trishul. Trishul, I told you, surface to air. How do you throw Trishul? By remaining on surface to air. Akash. Akash, surface to air again. So surface to air, Akash. So how do you look at sky? By remaining yourself on ground, look at sky. That is the way you can get into UPSC as well. Nag missile. Nag missile is anti-tank missile. It is fire and forget. Means fire and forget means once you fire it, it's of utmost surety it will hit the target because very high accuracy. How high accuracy? It locks the target once it is launched. So by having the infrared guidance system, so by this infrared guidance system, it locks the target. Even though target moves, it will hit the target with accuracy. So it is fire and forget anti-tank missile. Now once this Nag missile is also being is to be integrated with the helicopter. So Dhruv helicopter with Dhruv, Nag is going to be integrated, and its helicopter version of Nag is called Helena. So it means from our Dhruv helicopters, even from these Dhruv helicopters, these could destroy the tanks operating on the ground, and those missiles will be called Helena. So helicopter launched Nag. So just remember, Nag, fire and forget, anti-tank missiles. The next one we have is K missile series. So I just told you, if you remember Sagarika K missile, right? So K missile, it is submarine launched. So submarine launched, it means it will give second strike capability and thus nuclear deterrence. How nuclear deterrence? See, in any case, if any of our enemy nation, they definitely from whom we just have the chances of striking us by nuclear warhead, maybe just our neighboring countries, very good neighbors we have in terms of Pakistan, right? So if in any case we get attacked by nuclear weapons and our land capability get destroyed, but still we have the submarines, and from these submarines, if you have the capability of launching missiles, so it gives us second strike capability, even though we have been hit on at the first instance, but we still can strike back, and thus it provides nuclear deterrence. How nuclear deterrence? Because if the enemy nation knows that even though after the nuclear warhead attack all the capabilities are not destroyed, still India could hit back by using submarine launched missiles, and if they are nuclear capable, these nuclear payloads, then it's of very huge damage India still can do in the second strike. Then come to Shaurya. Shaurya, these are surface to surface. See the first letter S. So surface to surface ballistic missile. Yeah, about K missile, these are also ballistic missile, because you know these are Sagarika is, you just remember from the Sagarika is version, submarine version, variant of Prithvi, and Prithvi is what? Ballistic missile. Now this K missile, these are to be integrated with Aryanth class submarines. Shaurya, first letter S, surface to surface ballistic missile. BrahMos, we just discussed a few minutes ago. BrahMos is short range supersonic missile, cruise missile it is, and in a joint venture between Russia and India, two engine stays. First one, solid propellant booster, takes it to the supersonic speed. Then second, liquid engine that pushes to further around 3 Mach speed. 290 kilometers is the maximum range. So we are currently developing BrahMos 2 as well, that is hypersonic cruise missile. Nirbhaya is indigenously developed subsonic cruise missile. So this information only about Nirbhaya. Astra, first letter A, air to air. So beyond visual range, air to air, and it can hit on the targets which are changing or varying range and altitudes. So engaging multiple targets, changing their positions, etc. So that's all from defense. To try to recall once again, try to recall what we did in defense. We discussed about difference between cruise and ballistic missile. Ballistic goes out of the atmosphere guided by gravity. Cruise throughout guided by the engine. It is more accurate than Prithvi, Agni, Trishul, Akash, Nag. Go through them once again. It's more about revision. It's more about you go through them again and again and you recall in the exam. So that's all from defense chapter. Now we come to chapter number 10, that is education. Read the first paragraph just to get a better understanding about education. Even India, we have come up with new education policy last year. So new education policy is more inclusive and importance. You can get a question from education in GS mains, that is in mains paper GS, in essay as well. Last year an essay was asked from education. Now as we have new education policy, so it was an expected question or expected essay in mains. Now we have draft national health policy. So as we are the national health policy 2015 is open to the people to give feedback, comment and all. So it brings more importance for health as well this year to be asked in mains or in essay. Anyways, about education, it helps in all-round development of the people, so that all-round mental, physical, everything. Yeah, definitely more about the mental kind of thing, right? But how physical? Because once you learn more, you have the more awareness about the nutrition and all these things. So physical development also. Anyways, so education helps in the all-round development of a person and makes the person capable enough to contribute to the family, to society, to the economic growth of our country, and in the overall nation building process. Now we just go through certain schemes from education. Okay, where do you find education in which parts of our constitution? Because nowadays UPSC is asking questions like this, that this particular issue, for example health, where do you find explicitly mentioned health in which part of constitution? For example secularism, if question comes secularism or secular word, where do you find it in constitution, right? So secular word, you see, not at so many places. Indirectly meaning we can significance can come up from fundamental rights at so many different places as well, but explicitly mentioned, then we say it is preamble. If you remember secular, it was added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. Same way education, where do you find education in our constitution mentioned? Definitely fundamental right, Article 21A, we have right to free and compulsory elementary education for all the students of 6 to 14 years of age group. Then we have in DPSP Article 39F. Then we have in fundamental duties in Article 51A. Then there are certain fundamental duties, the last one, that is K duty, that was added. So by which Constitutional Amendment Act these any new, say for example Article 21A, it was added by 86th Constitutional Amendment Act. So same Amendment Act, the latest duty was added, that is 51A(k) subclause. And even DPSP, earlier there was DPSP regarding education, but that was with amendment, that was modified. Alright, so education, where do you find it? Fundamental rights, DPSP, fundamental duties. Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya, so it's a residential upper primary school, and for SC, ST, OBC Muslim community and BPL girls. So as it is a residential upper primary school for girls, so you can understand for what purpose it would be, where the education is of very low standard in the very backward blocks, and if schools are very large distance, where the girls they have to commute a long distance to go to schools, and once girls they commute a long distance, it is problematic for them as security reasons as well. So if in the education backward blocks where schools are at great distance and challenge of security. Now this is important. Padhe Bharat, Badhe Bharat. So Padhe Bharat and Badhe Bharat. So India studies, India progresses. Now two are the important components, two components. One is language development, another mathematics. So these two components are the main focus. Even if you remember these two, you can mark the question correct. That is language development and mathematics. Now how to develop language? By reading and writing. So early reading and writing in the early classes, for example class 1 and 2. So early reading and writing with comprehension and early mathematics, specifically in class 1 and 2. So how to improve language? By reading and writing with comprehension. And see, this is part of our CSET syllabus, right? So if government focuses over reading and writing with comprehension since class 1 and 2, then I believe there won't be any more protest or agitation against CSET exam. Then it could be bring as contributing into cut-off marks of prelims. Anyways, that's on the lighter note. So overall, to make the student learn in enjoyable atmosphere, to make the student learn with the language, to make the student learn with the numbers, so that the student becomes more comfortable using numbers, better reasoning capabilities, more understanding about various shapes, figures, mensuration, and improving the problem solving capability by using the various numbers and all. So all this to happen in a joyful and real life situation. Anyways, just remember two things about it. Padhe Bharat, Badhe Bharat. Padhe. Now this has to focus over two components, language development and mathematics. Another thing to remember, language development by early reading and writing with comprehension. That's it. Come to next. Midday meal scheme. So midday meal scheme, it is basically to ensure, to make sure students they keep on coming to classes, they enroll into the schools, they maintain their attendance, and they don't drop out. That is, they retain in the schools as well. It is launched by Ministry of HRD, right? So though there is a component of midday meal food, midday meal, right? It is not by Health or Family Welfare or Women and Child Development. It is by Ministry of HRD. So ultimately, the basic purpose is to make sure to enhance enrollment, to ensure their attendance, and to reduce the dropout. And side by side, also improving the health and nutrition status of children. Now you can see it to cover children studying in class 1st to 8th in government and government aided schools, special training centers, madrasas and maktabas supported under SSAs. So these are schools that are supported under or that are to provide midday meal scheme. Government and government aided schools, special training centers and madrasas and maktabas supported under SSA. Now next is Tithi Bojan. Tithi Bojan midday meal scheme. Our government is contemplating over to bring Tithi Bojan. It's a concept from Gujarat. So the Gujarat government, they have this Tithi Bojan concept. So midday meal is to go as it is. It is to be supplemented by Tithi Bojan. How? For example, in any case, in the villages, in the rural areas, say certain function happens, any marriage party, any birthday, any other kind of function that brings celebration in the village, that also includes cooking and eating, and definitely. So in those occasions, people would be encouraged to share their delicious food with the children, with the students in schools. So Tithi Bojan. So it is a kind of community participation. Now definitely government cannot enforce this thing on the people. It depends on their will, but government role is on to encourage those people, to encourage the local community, and to make them to participate or to come and with their food share with the children of all the different cutting across caste and class lines. So this is about if it is asked in prelims. About mains, you can use this kind of information somewhere, for example in GS paper 1, that is social issues. So midday meal scheme, what happens there? Children, the students across the caste, Brahmins, Kshatriya, Shudra, so any, even from the lower caste to upper caste, they come to schools, they sit together and eat. So inter-dining practices among the different caste. Same with Tithi Bhojan as well. Same, it is also supplementing the efforts done by midday meal. So what will happen? It will bring more social harmony in the community. It will try to deroot the caste system that is highly deep-rooted presently nowadays. So as caste system, if you look over it, if you contemplate over this issue, the various adverse impacts of caste, now how caste has been able to survive generation after generation till in this 21st century in India, because the upper caste people and the community, and actually they have been able to perpetuate certain rules in the society that reduces the chances of mixing. For example, this one, prohibition on inter-dining practices. So you won't find generally, in case presently also practiced in certain villages, you still find the caste practices still highly deep-rooted. So from the starting itself, they had brought certain rules that could make them separate, remain separate, so that they don't touch, they don't eat food with each other, they don't accept food from each other. Definitely the upper caste, they do not accept food from the lower caste, they don't share it with them. Then for example, exogamy, prohibition of intercaste marriages, marriage in the same caste, right? It is also to ensure the caste system that perpetuates from one generation to other generation. So these kind of the schemes that brings more social harmony, that tries to various adverse impacts of the caste system to further deteriorate them. Next, saransh. See, from the word itself, saransh means summary. In saransh, now CBSE board has launched it. So summary of what? Summary of the performance of student. So the student's performance is to be evaluated, and it is to be summarized in terms of numbers and in graphs, pie chart, graph and all. And it will help the schools to evaluate, understand, assess student by student assessment, as well as at aggregate level from school to school assessment. Moreover, this is also to be shared with the parents, so that they can also understand on what areas their the children are lacking, in which areas they are having the extra edge, so that in the same way the parents can also give focus accordingly. So Saransh by CBSE board for affiliated and CBSE schools. You can see here to look at their performance at an aggregate level and at levels of each student, presented through numbers as well as chart graphs for easy understanding, this and that. That's all. Next, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. From the name, see Madhyamik for secondary stage enrollment. So enrollment is to be enhanced and also ensure retention. So general enrollment ratio of 100% by 2017 and retention by 2020. How is to happen? Definitely by removing the various kind of inequalities, various barriers, that is gender, socio-economic, disability, all these barriers to be removed. Now moreover, vocationalization of education is also to be integrated in the Madhyamik Shiksha. So we come here, vocationalization of secondary and higher secondary education. So it is to be subsumed under Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. So that will help, because if once the children from the poor strata, they see that once they come to school, if they see they are getting certain skills, they are equipped with certain skills, then it will bring them more and more to school. So more enrollment, because it will enhance their employability, right? So once their employability is enhanced, they can get more easy chances for better employment, and it will also help the students to maintain their attendance. Moreover, the school will ensure checking the dropouts, right? So all these will be the benefits. So that is bridging the gap between employability and present skills. So a student is to be made employable, so that when he comes out of the education system, the person is employable in any kind of the meaningful one. Then Udaan. Udaan is launched by CBSE. So earlier Saransh launched by CBSE, now Udaan launched by CBSE. What is the objective? To make the girl students better prepared for the engineering entrance exams, for example IIT-JEE. How to do that? Better science and mathematics education in senior secondary school level. So because we see in the engineering colleges, specifically in the premier one, there is gender inequality in terms of their numbers. The girls are not equally represented there. So to ensure to go for more gender equality in those engineering colleges, the girl students, they have to be equally prepared for the exam. So that is to be done by Udaan. So you can see there, deserving girl students who aspire to pursue higher education in engineering, and assist them to prepare for IIT-JEE while studying in class 11th and 12th. Its benefit will be, it will enhance teaching and learning of science and mathematics at senior secondary school level. So that is Udaan. Now there is another scheme, Udaan, and that Udaan is skilling the youth of Jammu and Kashmir. So that is to bring the industry to Jammu and Kashmir, so that they can tap the potential of youth of Jammu and Kashmir. So it's a kind of the meeting of these two. The youth will get benefited as they will get adequate or sufficient payable jobs. So taking the industry to the youth of Jammu and Kashmir. So Jammu and Kashmir youth will be trained, will be skilled, and they will get employment in the various industries. So both will get benefited, the industry, the private sector, as well as youth of Jammu and Kashmir. That scheme Udaan is launched by, or that is in fact financed by Ministry of Home Affairs, because it is a national integration scheme. So it is also to focus in this way by skilling and providing employment. It will also try to reduce radicalization among the youth of Jammu and Kashmir. You can understand in a way, if the youth is employed meaningfully in certain employment, certain meaningful employed he or she is, then it checks radicalization. So financed by Ministry of Home Affairs, but implemented by NSDC, National Skill Development Corporation. So we'll also come to that scheme once it comes in our India Air book. Once we come to that. So here Udan by CBSE to make the girl students prepare for IIT JEE and all. Here you can read education development of women, what should be done. You can read for mains, what all suggestions you to give while writing the mains exam for education development of women. So for example, separate toilets for girls, bridge courses for older girls, also to bring more and more women teachers or sensitize the teachers towards gender requirements, focusing on ICDS, convergence of that. So these are various things. Also making the curriculum more gender equal, gender sensitive, right? Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, definitely know this. Then we have Mahila Samakhya. Mahila Samakhya is women empowerment scheme. So how a woman is to be empowered? Here Mahila Samakhya says empowering women by educating them, because education and empowerment, these are to supplement each other. Because once you educate a person, here educating a woman, then a woman can demand their rights. Now they know that these are rights, these are entitlements, and they get meaningful employment as well. As women's economic independence increases, it will increase their participation in decision making at home, at community level. So in this way, empowerment of women will happen. So going for educating them, going for more and more information, more and more awareness of the women, to the women, and in this way overall empowerment. So Mahila Samakhya, just remember, women empowerment by education. So to women in rural areas, particularly those from socially and economically marginalized groups. So that's all from this education chapter. So in today's class, we have done chapter number 9 and chapter number 10. So in the coming videos, we'll bring the rest of the India book chapters in the week time. If you want us to bring more such amazing videos for you people and you like our videos, then you hit like button, you hit like there, comment, subscribe, share our videos as well, so that we remain encouraged to bring more such and such amazing videos for you people. And don't panic, it's the last time going on, you have 1 month time, so just keep focused, keep on doing the practice papers, mock test. Trust me, if you do around 20 mock tests along with the detailed explanation, you will gain around 10 to 12 marks, definitely. And in this highly competitive exam, 10 marks, mind it, highly important, right? So thank you, see you soon, take care.